even if you haven't got somebody to love, says Sharon in Croydon, as long as you've got something to do, that gives you life purpose. Couldn't have said it better myself. Nick in Cheltenham, do you understand why somebody as successful as Lewis Hamilton can wrestle with the meaning and the purpose of his life?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, I will admit, obviously, I'm a massive Formula One fan, so I do have perhaps a more intimate understanding or a knowledge because I've read books and found out more. But I mean, he is obviously, particularly through Instagram and things, he has been bombasted with people who go on about his private planes and the lifestyle that he leads with the rich and famous. But if you actually start at the formative years, which is where most people develop their character, Lewis's parents separated when he was only 2 years old. He lived with his mother and his half-sisters. He was brought up in Stevenage. He was one of the first sort of mixed race, and it is indeed the first black, Formula One racing driver. He suffered a hell of a lot of racist abuse, not dissimilar to what's happening on the football field at the moment. And he had come from some very humble beginnings. So to then be shot up in the ranks, and it was through his choice. I mean, he literally begged at the age of sort of 6, 8 years old to go to Ron Dennis and say, I want to be signed, I want to be in your team. And now to be at a stage where, as many people will say, he is a multi-millionaire and could buy anything on the planet. But he's come from roots, and obviously Grenada, his Caribbean roots as well, where I identify with his feelings of sadness and loss, that he has seen extremes in life, and even though he's got so much money, he can't deal with them.
But why would he struggle to find purpose in life? It seems on the surface, despite what you've said, that his life has had a purpose and he is fulfilled. Or is he seeking
further
that's
exactly the point, Dotun. I think you've got it absolutely on the head there. If, particularly at a younger age, let's look at somebody like Gaza, Amy Winehouse. Let's look at lots of people who have found fame at an early age. Perhaps they're propelled into fame far too quickly. I was mentioning to Mel about Abraham Lincoln, way before we even looked at depression or melancholia, as it was called. Abraham Lincoln, at the height of his career, would go on to do the most amazing speech, and then you would see him literally sitting in a corner like a little humble schoolboy, and he would turn around to people and say, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. And because there was typhoid, there were people dying around him, and all these wonderful things he was said to be doing, his feeling that he should be doing more, his responsibility while people were suffering so much, was so immense. The perfectionism on somebody like that, who has such an incredible ability in one area of life, to see that another area of their life is something they can't control, that lack of control and perfectionism is incredibly destructive.
That self-doubt, though, is it always there?
It's not doubt what you are very good at. Abraham Lincoln was incredibly good at politics. Lewis Hamilton was incredibly good at Formula One. But if you read what Lewis said, it's not just his Formula One that is making him feel he needs to take a step back. It's the fact that he doesn't have any control over the other areas of life where he's seeing some shocking, horrible things happen.
You've summed it up, and thank you. It takes a fan of Formula One to understand it from that perspective. Thank you, Nick in Cheltenham there.